Hello, and welcome to the podcast, It's a Matter of Life and Death, a podcast by Annie Anderson and the Energy Medicine Clinic, one where we look to support, align, guide, and empower conversations that are tricky, passionate, and emotional about life and death. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back, everybody, to part 3 of Nikole's journey through her ayahuasca experience. Originally, this was just going to be a 2-part series, but there was so much that we uncovered in the first hour after she came back. I just thought, no, we need to extend this into 3 because I really want to get into the meat and potatoes. So if you haven't already listened to 1 and 2, you absolutely need to. And if you have, buckle up. Here we go. We're ready for part 3. So just to recap, we've gone over, getting to Costa Rica, the experience at the Rhythmia Resort, day 1 and 2 of the process and the ceremonies and some of the insights that you struggled with and experiences that you were just like mind blown with.
Yeah, it was so very intense. So we left off Tuesday night, second ceremony, and it was really rough. I felt so betrayed, angry, lack of trust. I felt so unsafe, which was the complete antithesis of what they were going for. We want you to feel safe. Bullshit. I don't feel safe. You lied to me. And I realize now that I needed to feel all of that. That was the medicine taking me to those places so I could feel that. To recap the questions, how do I feel? When was the first memory of me feeling like this? Do I feel like this in my regular life? And who has this made me become? And they touch on those questions, and people are sharing in the integration classes. And all day Wednesday, I was feeling so angry and so doubtful that this was even going to work because I had paid all this money. I was literally I'll talk to somebody, but I just want to go home. I don't feel safe here. And if I don't feel safe, how are you expecting that I'm going to get fixed or healed when
How am I going to be vulnerable in this?
Exactly. You lied to me. I just feel so betrayed. And I talked about it with Dwayne, one of the facilitators. I talked about it with Sally, and she was really good. Everyone that I talked to was really good. Sally especially just let me vent, and I was bawling, and I was so angry about the church. And then I talked with Ben, who is a fellow ex-Mormon, and connected with him on some of the commonalities that we had, and he resonated with a lot of what I shared. But yeah, going into ceremony on Wednesday, I was very doubtful and cautious and apprehensive
and tired.
Yep. Yeah. And still hauling this bag of you betrayed me and I don't feel safe here and this is just a scam and you're just taking all my money.
So what kept you there?
I think
because those are some big feelings.
And those I understand now have been feelings that I have felt my whole life. It was what the medicine was triggering those feelings in me so that I could feel it. I could go to that super dark place and I could feel that. So literally I could put it into the bucket and get it out of my body. Get it away from me. Feel it so you can heal with it. Or
feel it so you can heal it.
And then you can deal with it.
Oh, did we just make up an expression?
Maybe. I've heard it at another...
Oh, not quite that poetically though. Feel it so you can heal it and then deal with it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Feel, heal, deal. And yeah, so I talked with Zoe. Is that her name?
I don't know.
Probably.
We'll call her Zoe.
Zoe.
Even if it isn't. Okay.
It is, though. It has to be. What else would her name be?
I don't know.
It was Zoe. It was. Anyways, she's beautiful. She is one of the assistant shamans. And I saw her just kind of randomly at the cafeteria. And she said, hey, how's it going? This is the first time that we had met. She hadn't been to any ceremonies yet. And said, hey, how are you? And I was like, I'm upfront and honest. I'm just like, this is shitty. I hate this. I want to go home. And she was like, okay, well, what are some of the things that you're struggling with? And I said, I don't feel like I was betrayed. I don't feel like I can trust you now. You said this. You said I could laugh, and then I can't. And you mocked me and shamed me and all these things. And she said, make your intention tonight with the medicine. Ask the medicine to show you what it feels like to trust. And I was like, okay. And she talked with me just this quick little moment at the cafeteria. And then that night and ceremony, she was the shaman seated closest to me. And I think it was a little bit before the ceremony started, and she touched base with me again and reminded me, like, have your intention be specifically ask Mother Ayahuasca to show you what it feels like to trust. Because that's a new feeling for you, and she can show you and say, be kind, be gentle with me. Because I had a really rough night, and I was feeling rough, run over, tired, stressed, just having a really rough, totally. And she said, you can ask her to be soft. Ask for gentleness and ask her what it feels like to trust. And she said, Mother Ayahuasca loves gratitude. So when you say, I'm so thankful, thank you for having me be here, thank you for everything that's led up to this point, thank you. Be grateful and say, I said to her, okay, I'm trying to trust. And she's like, no, try. You're trusting. You take out that word from your vocabulary.
It's like Yoda. Do or do not.
Exactly.
There's
no try. And like I connected with that because of Yoda.
Yeah.
And like,
good old Yoda.
yes. But that is a truth. Like they're having that I'm trying.
Well, it's like, here, try and take this pen.
Yeah.
You reach out to grab it. You can't take. You either take the pen or you don't take the pen, but you can't try and take the pen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's still like you putting in that effort is like, but you're already doing it. You're only limiting yourself by saying, well, I'm trying. You're creating like an escape in case it doesn't happen. In case it
Something
doesn't work out, then it's their fault, not mine.
Right.
And yeah, so she taught me that you're not trying. You are trusting because you're still here. And I was like, okay, yes, because something is still here.
Keeping me here.
Whether it's like if it was only I've spent the money and it would cost me more money to go home right now. So I'm only staying to get my money's worth.
Right.
Like, fine. It was like, what's that word? Like disgruntled maybe, or like a fine.
Yep.
Like
begrudgingly.
Yeah. Yeah. So we started into ceremony on Wednesday, and it was so beautiful because Wednesday is their divine feminine. And they focus on that, and they talked in the previous class, like the classes of the day, to prepare us for the divine feminine and how there is a disbalance or imbalance of masculine and feminine in the world.
Yes.
We live in the patriarchy. Men are the top dogs, but it's like that doesn't serve everyone. It doesn't serve them either.
Yeah.
And by calling on our divine feminine and leaning into that and celebrating that and calling on her beautiful energy, that brings it more into balance. And one of the Lola was one of the shamans, like assistant shaman that talked about it. I think she shared it in preparation for Wednesday, but for sure on Thursday classes, she said that in talking about the divine feminine, that somewhere it's been said that if every woman, like she was talking about our cycles and connecting our menstrual cycles with the moon, and how that just so much power and beauty is in the divine feminine. And I love to ate it all up. Like, yes, please. I'm all about this. I'm all about femininity and like feminism and equal rights and all of that stuff. Yes, please. And she said that if every woman would take her monthly blood and give it back to the earth, that wars would end.
Wow.
And I was like, whew. She's like, I want to be a part of that. And I was like, girl, me too. I gotta stop snapping. I think it makes it too loud or something. But anyways, I was just like prepped, so ready for the divine feminine. It was gorgeous. There was 2 shamans that were leading it, and they were sisters, and just their energy, their love, the beauty, their special prayers on the medicine, and it was fabulous. So Wednesday night, I took the first cup, and then they always just have us meditate after the first cup, and then once it kind of starts going, they can sense the energy of the room. It's just silent, and then they prepare and call us for the second cup. And then shortly after the second cup, once things start kind of going, then they bring in the music. And I purged into that bucket, and it was gross and chunky. And I know, and I'm still only discovering more of what I put into that bucket. Like
in the 3 weeks that you've been back, you're still reflecting on what also went into that.
And understanding the things that I was able to let go of and just connect. And I was praying to her, to Mother Ayahuasca, which growing up Mormon, and then leaving, I had like a very skewed and hurt, wounded view of God. It was very toxic masculinity, very patriarchal, and that whole mentality, I just was like refusing. Like, no, I don't believe in God.
Yeah.
And as I reflected on what Zoe had said, like gratitude and trust. And I am trusting her. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And so I'm showing up for myself. I learned so much just to get out of my head and just listen and lean and live from my heart. And I struggle with that. I'm an overthinker. I like to overanalyze things and wonder and, you know.
Yeah.
Philosophize and distress about, well, what could happen? Well, this could happen and that, and then, but what about this? And just like spending so much of my time and my brain energy literally just like overthinking.
Yeah.
And living my life from that place. And that it's almost like scarcity. There's no trust there. But being able to trust and show up for myself and just lean in, I surrendered that night. And now looking back, I realized that Tuesday night was my ego death. It was like I had buried myself in the earth and just like surrendered all of who I was. Like there was no beginning.
You're digging your own grave, putting yourself in.
100%.
Okay.
And
very symbolic.
Was covered in, like it was on me, in me, all about me.
Yeah.
There was no beginning and end of me. It was just me one with the earth. And then on Wednesday night, I felt just like a complete peace and surrender to her, to the goddess who has always been there in my life. And like every little thing that I have gone through, lived, all of my choices, all of the things that have happened to me were actually happening for me, so that I could be there and connect and be able to shed. Like I laid down my old me and then was like reborn and stepped a new person. Mm-hmm. And being able to let go of old belief systems about God and Jesus and that kind of mentality. Mm-hmm. It just shifted, and I see and feel now that it was Mother Ayahuasca. Like the medicine was calling me before I even knew that word or could pronounce it.
All these series of events happened to get you to where you were that night.
Yeah. And they talk about that. Like, everything doesn't happen to you.
Yeah.
Everything is happening for you.
Yeah. And where's the gift in this?
Yes. And just feeling that, like, it was in that room that night, the divine feminine, the beautiful love and energy. And Zoe was there teaching me, and I surrendered, and I was barfing up all the old hate and anger of the past trauma, me being abused. And I heard that, felt it, and just said, I don't need that anymore. I'm not that person, and I don't have to be her anymore. And yeah, and then I got up and I started dancing again. And again, I just connected to the music in a way that I have never been before. But like, I mean, I could go on, so I think you could dance, because it was really good. Like, it was really good. And like, everyone after was like, Nikole, are you a professional? Like, that's amazing. And I'm like, no, I was just making it up. And they're like, whoa, you looked like a waterbender or an airbender. Like, you were just like, wow, flowing and so just connected. And I knew. So I had got up and danced a little bit on Tuesday, and then during the day on Wednesday, a few people had said, like, oh, your dancing was so beautiful. And I liked that. That felt good. That was validating of, like,
affirming.
Me sharing a part of my journey helps other people in their journey. And I knew
You're valued.
Yeah. And I knew that I was being seen. And Wednesday night, the music was just so flowing and beautiful and soft. And then it was faster moving. And I connected with my body and was able to just love myself and hold myself. And I grabbed my tummy and I'm like, I love you. My body has done amazing things. My belly has grown and cared for babies. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's such a beautiful gift. And before, I had such insecurities about my body, especially my tummy, like trying to make it hidden and not stick out as much. And, there's so many damaging ideas about women's bodies. Thank you, patriarchy, that society perpetuates. And it's so harmful. And I was able literally to put that into the bucket and dance away all of the shame. And like, I love my body, and like, I'm thankful for my body. My body has brought me through so much.
Yeah.
And every day she's here with me, and
Shows up.
And then I'm going to hate on her
Yeah.
because she doesn't look the way that I think someone else needs to. No, thank you. And I was standing up in the middle. Everyone else is laying on their beds, and I was like snuggling my chubby little mommy tummy and like snuggling it and whispering that I love myself and saying like, I love you, belly. Thank you. Thank you. And just stepping into that gratitude of my body and feeling like the divine feminine. Like, I was reborn that night. April 11th is my new birthday. Like, it was just like, I'm a new person, except I've been here all along. And seeing the shift in surrender to Goddess. Like, I even thought and felt like, submit your will. I mean, in church, it's submit your will to the Father. That's like the scripture. But in ayahuasca, in ceremony, it was like, submit my will to her, to my Goddess. Like, she knows me. She loves me. She's providing for me. And she has my back. And with her, all things are possible.
How does that work, though, with the men that were there? Like, you know, you talk about the patriarchy and this divine feminine. How does that work from their perspective? Like, are
Yeah.
they then in a reverse role? Or are they, like, is their divine feminine their actual divine masculine? Like, how does that flip?
I think even that, like, I think I get what you're saying, and I think that comes from patriarchy, saying that, well, there's the divine feminine, well, then there needs to be divine masculine too, right? Because it has to be balanced. But I think because of the society that we live in, we're so top heavy with masculinity that getting men to connect with their divine feminine and like embrace that, lean into it, that just opens up even more healing and softness. And
Did any of the men comment about that?
I'm thinking one person, and I'm not remembering if his special night was Thursday or Wednesday,
Okay.
but he was feeling it and connected.
Okay.
And
So it didn't matter if you were male or female.
no, not
Okay.
at all. Because it's
how
like,
many men in the past have connected with their divine feminine?
Exactly.
Without being called gay or whatever.
Yes. And like stepping into that, like that's just another symptom, a sign of how we need to shift
Yeah, the
out
unhealthiness.
of the patriarchy that it has to be, well, if we have a divine feminine, then we need divine masculine. Well, for sure we do. It's all about balance. You can't have light without the dark. You can't have the yin without the yang. Masculine and feminine, they're a part of each of us.
But it can be
have-
blended and, you know, fluid.
Exactly. Like I have estrogen and testosterone in the balance that is healthy for my body. You have it in a different amount, and a man has estrogen in his body too. It's all about the connection and the flowing.
Right.
And because of society that we live in, it's very masculine dominated, and stepping, and I think having men open up and like embrace their divine feminine, A, sexy as hell, B, healing
Yes.
as hell. Like that's all of us need to embrace that. And no, get rid of that homophobia. Just because a man cries or a man feels or a man does something that is quote girly or feminine, that doesn't make him any less of a man. That doesn't make him gay. That doesn't make him, you know,
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
less than a real. I think that is the ultimate masculine, is able to gently hold feminine as well. And it's about that beautiful balance. And
That's a whole nother podcast.
100%.
Okay. So Wednesday was pivotal, your new birthday.
So much.
Okay.
It was so,
And were you going to bed at like 2:30 in the morning again?
yep,
That was kind of a normal thing.
yep.
Okay.
And then yoga.
Did you make it to yoga on Thursday?
Yeah, and I even made it on Monday was the only, so like, I guess Tuesday morning of yoga, that
Right.
was the only yoga that I missed.
Okay.
And Victor was the yoga teacher, and I just have to say, he is so in touch with his divine feminine. He is gay, and he is such a beautiful soul. Like in part of his yoga, it would be like, okay, grab your leg, and you cradle that leg, and you say, thank you, leg. Thank you for taking me on all my steps today. Thank you, leg. And he'd give his leg a kiss, and like, just like embracing just love and beauty and his whole energy and the way that he danced. And he had long, beautiful black hair. He was
Were they
Latino.
all Costa Ricans?
Zoe wasn't. Zoe was, I think, Australian or
Okay.
like Caucasian.
Yeah.
She said she was born in Greece and grew up in Australia, I think.
Okay. So quite a variety of cultures.
And like Lola was in the U.S. Army or military or something, and also white. And then like
Right.
Sally, there was a mix.
Yeah.
The like the main shamans were indigenous,
To
either
Costa
like
Rica.
Colombian or
Central America. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so day 4.
yeah.
Ooh.
It was so good. I just was on like I just felt lived different. I was like that there, I got it. That was
Could
my
you
miracle.
see a change in other people just by looking at them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm thinking of one person that she was just looking so sad And on Friday, I was just like, oh no, is she going to get it? Like, is she going to get to that point of the switch or flip or anything? And I was feeling sad. And then after, I think it was after breath work, I could just like
See it.
light her face, her smile was totally different. Like she just looked like she was carrying this huge load, and then
Put it in a bucket.
yeah. And I just know for me, the feeling, excuse me.
You know, I just got to pause there for a second. All the times you've hiccuped and all those sorts of things, I'm like, you are still releasing
100%.
just in the sharing.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm going back and I'm remembering and those feelings, like she's
You're
still in me. She's hearing this and
Yeah.
she's saying, yeah. And I'm learning things as I'm saying it. I'm very much like a chatty Cathy. Talking it out is how I learn and process. Like hearing me say these things, it's like it comes to my brain and I just go with the flow. I felt that so much, especially Wednesday night. Like I didn't question it or doubt it. If I felt it, I just went with the flow and I just like got out of my head and lived in my heart and lived from my heart. And everything that I did, and I can't remember, because I went up for a third cup.
On Thursday?
Must have been on Thursday. Must have been. But because Zoe was the one that went up and helped me to get my third cup. Because that's getting more is just like asking the medicine to go deeper and like help me with more things. And yeah, so in Wednesday, I just felt like the healing of, you know, being raised in a high demand religion with very toxic, patriarchal, egocentric view of God, of this, and like that was forced on me, and then shifting and being able to shed that, literally put it in the bucket, and then embrace and like surrender myself to the medicine. And in pure trust. Like, I don't know what this is, but I will do, you tell me where to go and I will follow.
Right.
Like Indiana Jones, putting the step on there. And now I know, because I felt that. We've talked about Indiana Jones and the step of faith and having what's going to be there. I get so stuck up on my head of what, how, when is this going to be? And, you know, caught up in that. But really, it's just like, just take a step. And I know that she will have something for me to stand on. And like take that step of faith and trust. And it's being so brave. And now I see, looking back, that every time that I did that, it was her saying, I've got your back, girl. I love you. Here it is. You know, and I think it's semantics. If it's God, goddess, love, source, creator, ayahuasca, the universe.
Yeah.
There are lots of different names.
Yeah. Same but different.
For the same. It's literally love. And being able to surrender to love. Mm-hmm. And yeah, being able to like heal. I felt like the anger and shame about being abused at 6. Like, I put that in the bucket. I don't need to haul that around anymore. And I was able to like look at myself, see my inner child, and thank her, because she did a hell of a lot. Like, she did so much. She did her very, very best.
Yeah.
You couldn't, I couldn't ask her to do anything else. She did her very best. And now she doesn't have to do that anymore. She can rest, and I've got this, and it's going to be okay.
And it's got to feel like the weight of the mountains taken off.
Oh, it was totally. And I know, like, because I had cancer. We talked previously about me having cancer. I know I threw up all of like that, the cancer and all of that.
Treatment and worry. Yeah.
And yeah, so after my big purge, Zoe was there and she was blessing me and rubbing the sweet lotion on and just like cooling, saying the like special words. And it was just like you purge and you get rid of it, and then it's like filled then with love. And yeah, it was magical.
Nice.
So where are we at? That's Wednesday.
So Thursday.
Yeah, just like night and day difference. When I talked to Sally in the morning, she was just like, oh, Nikole, like, I am so, so happy. So happy. She's like, I wish we could have like a video of like a before
all the different steps, all the versions.
Yes. And how just the change. And literally I felt it. I see it. Like, it was like in less than 24 hours, I went from angry and hateful and bitter and just like so much negativity, stress, tension, darkness, hate, just like evil, to like, I am wrapped in so much love. I have never felt so completely wrapped in love, and literally from complete strangers.
Yeah.
There was like 50 plus people there, the assistants, the shamans. I don't know their names, and I know that they were there for love for me. And the love from the medicine, and that every single thing that I've been through in my life was just like a little piece getting me totally ready, because then when I was there, I could say, thank you. Thank you to my abuser. Thank you to me for being able to get myself through all of that. Thank you to the people who didn't believe me. Thank you to all of what I have gone through. Was all meant for me so that I could be there, so I could feel it, and I could release what I don't need anymore. But like,
what a gift of
that
healing.
Formed me. That made me who I was. And now I can hold myself and love myself and say, thank you, Nikole, thank you so much. I owe everything to her, to me, to the old me. And now being the new me is like, I can do whatever. Like,
well, you're empowered and you're in a grown-up position where you have that agency now to ask directly for what you want, to make your decisions, to choose what you want to choose.
Yeah.
And choose how you react to whatever else happens.
Yeah. So then,
I guess respond, not react.
Yeah. So then Thursday night was really cool too, because they had the shaman was someone who was trained from in Colombia. The main shaman that I was with, his name is Mitra, and then he was trained by, I think, Tito, and Tito was like in the Colombian tradition going back like 5,000 years. Like, this is about as like genuinely authentic from the jungle that you can get. And so Mitra was there, the main shaman, on Thursday. So Thursday night started a little later. It started at 6:30, but it went all the way until like 9 in the morning.
Wow.
And Thursday was more of like a celebration. It was like a playful, it was just more of a
Lighthearted.
an upbeat, more energy. I'm trying to think if I purged on Thursday night. I think I did.
But not as heavily.
But I did, but it was like, it wasn't as intense. It was just like, and I understood then the mechanics of it. This is how, I feel that darkness, and now Ayahuasca, Mother Goddess, is saying, I don't need that anymore. And I'm able to shed it and let it
Without
go.
resistance.
Take it away. And I would be like literally barfing and being like, thank you. Thank you to my body. Thank you to who I was to get me through all of the stuff that I got through. Just like grateful. Thank you. And then let it go. And like, thank you. Goodbye. Like, it was so healing and so beautiful. And yeah, Thursday night, I got up and danced again. Like, I was just like so connected with my body. More people got up and danced, and just, yeah, all night. It was just
all the acceptance and forgiveness and love emanating from you right now.
Oh, like I have never felt so wrapped in love, and then laying in the bed and just felt so much peace, and I felt lighter. Like, I know that I put so much heavy darkness into that bucket.
Yeah.
And like I don't need that anymore.
No, let it be transmuted.
Yeah. And like actually feeling that, like the literal transformation, the before and after of my heart, like burnt, crispy, barbecue fried black heart to like glowing and shining and just radiant beauty of love. And it's like, I feel like I've only scratched the surface.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're ready to go again.
Oh, 100%. I was like, I think after Wednesday night, I was like, okay, Sally, hook a girl up, because I'd be going back. Like, oh my goodness, this was the best thing ever. And just seeing I don't know, just having that feeling, like, I want to do this all the time. Like,
is there a schedule they recommend? Like once a month, once a year?
They recommend at least yearly to come back for like your regular checkup kind of thing. But then like Sally and Ben, I don't know how often Dwayne does it, but they each do it like once a week. Sally does, at least, working in as an assistant shaman and as the like assistant healer.
Right.
And so she's taking the medicine once a week. And she was like, oh, I'm still learning things about myself and still putting things in the bucket and still, you know, and she does it every week.
Yeah.
And like, there's no end to it. It's like a layer, like an onion that just like there's.
Well, and if you're dealing with 75 or 175 different dimensions of you and all these different, you know, places, of course there's going to be lots of opportunity for stuff to go in the bucket.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your biggest takeaway from all of this?
Oh man, I can't just pick one.
Okay, fair enough.
I think one of the big shifts in my heart and my healing, Lola was one of the assistant shamans, and she was teaching a class about integration. And so the third intention is heal my heart. Once you've merge my soul back, merge me back to my soul at all costs.
Yeah.
And the third intention is heal my heart. And heal my heart for me was like being grateful and like forgiving myself for the way that I reacted. Right. And understanding, like holding space for, I was doing the best that I could at 6, at 9, at 15, like understanding that I did the best that I could, and then healing and saying thank you. And then there's a next level of being able to forgive the unforgivable. And in my case, that would be like to my abuser. And I truly felt that. So Lola in class was talking about this forgiving, and she said a quote. She doesn't know where the author is, but the quote is, how hungry your heart must have been to devour mine. And when I think about that and hold space for someone else and understand that they were literally doing the best that they could, everyone makes mistakes, and that like it shifted from like a victim mentality for me and like not taking it personally and to
empathy and compassion.
And like,
not to finish your sentence for you, but that's what it feels like is going to come out of your mouth.
Yeah. And like, I love them. And that is like, it feels even like when I get in my head, it's like, what are you saying, girl? Like, no. But that's my ego coming back and saying, flaring up.
That doesn't absolve people of the crimes and things like that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And yet it heals me.
It frees you.
And
Yeah, they say healing isn't for the other, or forgiveness isn't for the other person. It's
for me, because I was the one literally holding
Yeah.
30 years
being held hostage.
of this anger, and it was affecting my life,
Yeah.
even now, and in very big and impactful ways. But I know that I put that anger and that hate and the like disbelief, or like, I put all that into the bucket, and I can hold space and say that I love them, and I hope that they get the healing that they need. And
Do you feel like you need to, or you're able to, or you want to have them back in your life in any capacity now?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I'm still
processing that.
Yeah.
Because that's a big 180 degrees.
Yeah, and I still have, that's great for me to feel, and I still need to know that I have boundaries,
Yes.
and I still need to keep myself safe,
Yes.
mentally and emotionally,
Yes.
physically too. Like, it's like, I still have protection for me, and I'm still figuring out to what extent. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah. But even if there is no reconciliation in that sense, or coming back to being in each other's lives, just not carrying that in your backpack is going to free you.
Mm-hmm. And it already has. Like, I feel like so different.
Yeah, you look different.
And being able to genuinely say, I love him, and I'm grateful that I know and understand that it needed to happen the way that it did. And I trust that it needed to happen the way that it did for him too.
Yeah.
Not just for me.
Yeah.
Even though, like, mistakes were made, and I can hold space. No one lives a perfect life. I've made huge mistakes too.
Yeah.
And just being able to let go of that resentment and hate and anger that just like burns and is like so heavy. It's just like, I don't have to. And what letting go is holding more. Like, that's been like a theme for me for a couple years, and I just felt that. And yeah, being able to let go of that opened up my heart for so much more peace and love that I can't even express to the extent of how much love and peace I felt then and still feel now. Like, I don't dwell on it. I'm not anxious and stuck up in my head about it. And like, being able to live more from a space of love
and trust gratitude.
And I've felt the shift with my kids a little bit. I've only seen them once since I've been back, but and just the shift of motherhood and the demands of that for me. And yeah, like, it was, healing doesn't even begin to all of it. Like, it doesn't even, like, there's got to be a bigger, better word.
Yeah.
Just to that
Is it
magnitude.
like a soul's evolution?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Or
Absolutely.
consciousness evolution?
Yes. And just like an awakening, like a reborn, totally. So yeah, Thursday night, I was having visions and dancing, and then like it went all night. I was up when Thursday at 6:30, and I napped for like 1 hour at 10, from 10 to 11 on Friday morning. So I was up for however many, like 28 hours straight.
Yeah.
And then Friday was, it was so beautiful. They had what they called a dance of liberation. And so we gathered and were dancing and moving and flowing. And Victor was the yoga teacher, was the dance teacher. He literally is my favorite. I'm just like, just his energy. I just like crave it. Like, he's just like so wonderful. So he's leading us and we're just dancing around, and then grab a partner and hold their hand and dance. And then with the partner, one of us was blindfolded and then dance. And then the other one who's not blindfolded is protecting them and like guarding them. So if you're don't touch them, but if they're going to run into something or somebody, then you protect them and turn them the other way and stuff. Yeah. So we're dancing totally blind
and trusting,
and it was incredible, just connecting, moving with your body and flowing, and then like taking out sight and having to completely trust this other stranger, basically. Excuse me. Yeah, it was beautiful. And then Friday night, we had like it was a breath work session.
But no more ayahuasca.
No more ayahuasca. Oh, I went up on Thursday night and had my third cup. I asked Zoe to help me. I was like, I want to, but I'm scared. And she like guided me up there. And then I told Lola, who was the assistant shaman, I said, I want to have a third cup, but I'm scared. And she said, there's no need to be scared, Nikole. We have you and we're right here with you and it's going to be okay. And so I took another cup. I only got like maybe like a quarter of the shot cup. So it wasn't very much. But I said I wanted to go deeper. And so she told the shaman that, and he blessed it, put that intention on the cup. And I wanted to heal and forgive the unforgivable. And just that sense of peace and shedding and love. And I held that for my abuser, for the people who didn't believe me, and like just like so much emotional closure in a way, and like a sense of peace and love and understanding that they were doing the best that they could, and understanding that I sometimes hold people to their behavior of how I would behave. Like, well, I wouldn't do it like that, and I think that you should just do it like I would do it. But that's not fair because you are not in the same emotionally intelligent stage that I'm at. But just being able to recognize that of myself, and then being able to give forgiveness for people and forgive myself for
meet them where they're at.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Friday night was breath work, and it was like I was back on ayahuasca. Like I had visions and I was like floating out of my body. Like the amount of peace that I felt, like I felt again like I was reborn. I was reborn Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I went surfing after. I went and stayed a few days after Rhythmia, and I went surfing for the first time. And it was so good. And I was just like, I am reborn again. And I just felt like being in the ocean. I went and played at the ocean on Thursday and on Friday. And then I went surfing on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday morning. And each time being in the ocean, on Thursday, Friday, I'd be talking with other people at Rhythmia and just like sharing experiences and stuff. And that's like transmuting, putting the energy in, and then the water is taking it away and just like
very
being
symbolic.
Cleansed. Oh, so much so. Yeah, it was so beautiful. And then Thursday morning, so this is probably like 4 o'clock in the morning, so it was still dark. I realized I just felt so connected with the elements, and how like when I had my ego death on Tuesday, I had like put myself back into the earth. And then like on Wednesday, it was like I was reborn. And then Thursday night, I like called the power of the elements and was like, help me to reform me, and thank you for the guidance, and thank you for the influence. And so the sun started to rise, and I took a cup. So when you take ayahuasca, like you've been fasting, you're allowed to drink water up until the first cup, and then you can only like bear sips just to cleanse your mouth and stuff, because if you drink water with ayahuasca, it will ferment in your stomach, and then it can cause more nausea and vomiting and stuff. And that's like not the
More
purpose
than
of
needed.
it. Totally. But then at the end of Thursday night, so this is now probably 6 o'clock in the morning, the sun's starting to come up, and I had a cup of water, and I went out and I like drank some, and I just like spit it back onto the earth, and I was just like kneeling on the earth, and I said thank you to the earth, thank you to the sun, which is the fire, and then the wind. It started getting really windy on Friday, and everyone was like, this is so weird, it's not usually like this, but it was just like so cleansing. And like, I grew up in Fort McLeod, which is windy AF, and it was just like, this is healing. The wind is blowing away all of this, more of what we don't need. And then, earth, water, wind, fire, just like connecting with each of those and seeing that and like calling in those powers to my ceremony and making it so personal. And then, so this was Friday night, I like felt my mom was there in the wind. And it was like, it was really windy, and I just like surrendered and said thank you. And I understood that even though she's not here and I can't see her and talk to her like I talk to you, like she's still here around. She's still a part of me. There's still energy. And then she's still here with me, loving me. And I feel like in some ways, like I went to wherever it is that she is. Like, I don't know what is after this life, but it's something. It's not nothing.
Yeah.
And if she has a name or can talk, I have no idea. But like, that energy is still there. And I felt so connected to her and just felt love and grateful to her for all that she's done for me and how she influenced me. And I forgave her. And it was just like more and more healing.
Lightning.
Yeah. And then this would have been like Saturday morning then. We had like our closing ceremony, and there was like somewhere along there we did yoga, and Victor was like, this is yoga for your heart. This is yoga for all the different chakras. And I know for sure after the throat chakra, I was just like chatty Cathy. Like, I couldn't stop talking. I was just like, and people would come up and ask me questions, and I'm just like, oh my God, like this, like, I can't stop. Like, there's just so much. And yeah, I felt like I needed to sing. I love to sing, and asked Sally, like, would it be possible to have me sing, and like, where could that happen and stuff? And she said, yeah, at the closing group, that would be a good time. And so I was prepared to and going to, and then whatever facilitator was like, okay, we're gonna have the sharing circle, and I was just gonna be like, hey, me, I'd like to sing a song, but someone else started sharing, and then everyone left, and I was just like, oh, okay. But it was such a good practice for me to instead like sit with that disappointment. I had like an expectation, and then I was disappointed. What is that trying to teach me? Like, what here is to be learned? And I said,
where's the gift?
Exactly. And I trust that just because it was a no doesn't mean it's a never. It's just a not right now. And then I went and talked with Sally about it, and how like I was able to use that process in my brain, because before I would have just been like, oh, well, too bad. Like, they don't want me to sing because I'm not that good, and I just need to not,
I'm not welcome.
fit back into this stupid little box, But being able to practice overcoming the initial reaction of the ego and say, no, it's okay. She needed to share, and everyone left anyways, so it's okay. I talked about it with Sally, and like leaning into the lesson and embracing that, trusting. And so Sally said, how about at end of breathwork tonight? Because there will be new people So they have people come on Saturday and then leave on Saturday, or people come on Sunday and leave on Sunday.
Right.
So I had my final breath work was some people's first night of breath work.
Right.
And yeah, she was said, like, I love that you're like seeing this, that there's like just embracing the lesson rather than like go back to the
Resisting the lesson.
Exactly. And old habits are going to show up and you just do that instead. So yeah, the breath work on Saturday, I was again reborn, and she said, does anybody want to share? And I just like instantly stood up. My whole body was shaking, like trembling, because it's like deep breath work that they have, and then visualizations, there's meditations, and there's still, it's like natural DMT and residual, because the ayahuasca is still in there, and I'm still like coming down off of this super high. And yeah, so I got up and shared and said, like, this week changed my life. It changed how I look at myself, how I look at others, like let go of shame and judgment. And I'm just like so grateful. And I want to share a song. And so I sang Never Enough from The Greatest Showman. And I mean, it was amazing because I'm good. But it was just like so cleansing and healing to sing. And like as I sang it, it's like the lines on the song just like connect with the journey of ayahuasca and just like releasing and trusting. And it was just so the most beautiful end, yes, to that. And yeah, I had people saying like, oh, you need to be a singer. You have to get into be a singer, be a dancer, because girl, you are like amazing. And even at the beginning of breathwork, I knew that I was wanting to sing, but my ego started flaring up and was like, are you just wanting to sing because you just want everyone to tell you how great you are? And like, you know, you're just like downplaying it to myself.
Yeah.
And then during the breathwork, I asked, like, if this is right, help me to like find the strength and like let it play out and trust. And that was the night that I did tapping on myself and I did Reiki, because it was just like, help me to like ground here. And I just knew and felt through the whole breathwork session, I could feel my ego rise up and then be like, that's okay. You don't have to react like that anymore. I've got you. We've got that the new self, way. Yeah.
The wise me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My wise mind.
Yeah.
100% was there being like, no, thank you. Thank you for saying that. But, you know, listen, your voice is important. And the breathwork teacher was a different breathwork teacher than the Friday night before. And initially I was like, oh, like, because I really liked him. And then she was different, and they just have different ways of being and saying things and stuff. And at first I was a little annoyed or just like, disappointed. But as like the session went on, she did like, we did the whole chakras of like breath work in the chakra, and she was saying affirmations for each. And when she got to the throat, it was like, my voice is important, and my voice deserves to be heard, and my voice has valuable things to share. And it was just like, I knew that was for me. And so it was like, as soon as breath work was over and she was like, sharing circle, I was like, me, pick me. And I just like stood up, and like this changed me, where it was like all along I knew that, and I felt that for a long time of like, I have something to say. I have an important thing to say, and I want to say it. Yeah. And this is a part of sharing it, a part of using my voice, and I don't know what the next step is. And I trust that whatever it is, like, I'm capable of it. And I know that even if it's a huge blowout mistake and it's hard, that's what is meant for me. And I knew that being in Costa Rica, and like I love Costa Rica. It changed my life forever. And I was like, I knew that taking whatever that was, 8 shots of the super yucky medicine, that didn't change anything. I'm still coming home. I still have 4 kids that are loud. I still have an ex-husband who I have to navigate co-parenting with. I still have my family of origin that I'm figuring things out. I still have my past. I still have an abuser. I still have all of these things. I still don't have a job. I still don't know where my next paycheck's coming from. Like all of these normal stresses, that's all still exactly the same. But it's so different because I'm different. And I'm forever changed in knowing and seeing the things that I felt and being able to remember and go back and to process and learn and just being able to continue on to practice. I said it in one of the lessons, probably Friday. It was like, I'm just like a newborn adult. Like, yeah, sure, I'm 36,
Yes.
but like, I'm just like a brand new baby
And
here.
you get to start with all the wisdom you've got.
Yes, and all of this past lived experience,
Yeah.
and I continually share and shift and change, and it's like, it's not like I took ayahuasca and it fixed everything, and I'm just like, oh, well, I just got like this perfect life now. No. My life is still going to be the same. I still struggle to go to the gym. I still have, those same issues, but it's like, it's more practice for me to react to the things. Respond instead of, reacting from a space of lack and scarcity versus love and abundance.
Well, I really look forward to following this journey and checking in with you in a couple of months and see, how has this really integrated in your life? What change has this created with this different fork in the road?
Yeah, I'm excited.
I appreciate you sharing all this stuff. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited. Just like, I don't know what's coming, and that's okay. Because I know me, and I love me, and I've got
this.
I've got a goddess supporting me, and I've got love, and whatever comes up, I know that I can handle it because I've been through 100%.
You've survived 100% of everything life has thrown you. Yeah.
And I'm even more ready now to make this be more beneficial for me. Rather than just like, instead of surviving, now I'm ready to start thriving.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. And thank you to our listeners for joining us. And stay tuned for the next episode.